Okay, what you know about mango bars? Pretty good, right? If you had them. But yeah, this video is about Hamza and his more later things. There's the three Muslims he's actually spoke with, and there's also just in general, he actually has posted about religion before, and religion is something that I struggle with and I found very difficult. There's times where I do end up praying, times where I'm just like, it's just so hard. And then I just think, why is it so hard? Like, what's the point of it being hard? What actually makes it hard, to be honest? Like, I've always been told, oh, it's only 5 minutes and so on. And then I'm also finding out loads of other things that aren't actually mandatory, and then it just adds on so much. It just adds on so much to my mind. So I'm just thinking, I need to essentially step up my game, right? And I know Hamza said he would too. In fact, the reason why I'm even on the PC right now is just so I could show you some videos. For example, this is me just using OBS. But here, you can see that in July 30th, he said, the conversion has begun. But obviously, it hasn't, because in his later videos, around here, he still doesn't consider himself as a Muslim, right? So why would he have made that video? Is it because maybe he just wants to seem like he's doing better, or so on? But to be honest, even with all of that, the fact that he's even going on to this podcast, I suppose, if you can even call it a podcast. I guess it's not a podcast. It's just a talk. But in general, I'd say the fact that he went into this call, even with all of his like traumatic experiences before. I know, like, for me personally as well, it's just so hard to connect with religion when it's just been forced into you, right? I just found it a lot easier to, ease into it, actually. Like, just being able to ease into it, it made a whole difference, to be honest. For example, let's say the less someone forced me, similar to the less you're trying to forcefully, pet a cat and it's trying to run away rather than letting it come to you. That's how it felt for me personally. Like, the fact that I wasn't forced, and then I just saw it happen. Like, my friend, I just see him pray, and then eventually I was just like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I was in the mosque with him and everything, and I was just like, I'll just do it. Like, what do I have to lose? There's only something to gain, right? I would think about the equation of God. I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's where the outcome of believing in God and then dying and finding out he doesn't exist is very minuscule compared to not believing in God and then finding out he does exist, and then that equates to infinite punishment, right? Like, think about it. So 1 verse 8, not 8, infinite. 1 verse infinite. So let's say 1 decade of your life you've been praying. That's an exaggeration, because I've always been told, oh, it's like 5 minutes a day, so on, or 5 minute of prayer. But let's say even if it is a decade of your life, the rest of that time you have to yourself, right? The rest of that time you have to yourself, and it just means you won't have to worry about what comes after life, right? Like, there's times where I've question myself, like, oh, is there a God? Is there so on and all that? But I know in general, I say in general, I don't know why I keep saying that, but we as humans always have this innate knowledge that there's something else out there. There's just something else out there, and you know it. Like, you know that there is. So the fact that I even got into the whole, is there a God and so on, does God exist, it was just like trauma or childhood trauma. Just like thinking, oh, getting hit by, you know, their mom, or getting hit. Obviously they don't do this now, but when I was like 5 or 6, bro, that you'd get hit by keys, like car keys. You'd get hit by a mug, bro. Get your feet dipped into cold water, then get slaps on the it would be harsh, right? And now I'm just thinking, when I met one of my teachers who was actually a revert, he was German, he was a revert, he went from Christianity to Islam, and I just realized how much like elegance and beauty there was. Of course, I'm not saying you have to choose Islam or anything. You don't even have to go into religion, but just like know that there's someone that's out there, right? Like, even if you say there isn't, that there's just, you can 100%, if you were to not have any sort of, I guess, influence from anyone, you wouldn't have heard about like science and so on, because science is mainly just playing catch up, to be honest. But you would have just believed in God, whether you knew it or not. Like, you would have believed in a higher power. So for Hamza, this is how it relates back to Hamza. At the end of this video, he ends up saying that he needs a sort of time to like accept the process, right? But you don't have to. I know this has come from me, and this probably like a lot of other people are in the same boat. You don't have to fully be into all the prayers and like do all the fast, taraweeh, everything. Like, you don't have to do everything to be considered a Muslim. Like, he doesn't consider himself a Muslim, even though he went on this talk, he pursued all of this knowledge. He stayed in this call for nearly 2 hours, and he was actually asking, how do I pray, and so on. Like, that's part of being a Muslim, just like trying to strive for more knowledge, right? And that just means he is a Muslim, whether he wants this whether he accepts it or not. The fact that he even went for, you know, trying to get like a translation of the Quran, or what, maybe it was Rami who said he would just give him a translation of the Quran. But either way, his pursuit just indicates otherwise. Like, being a Muslim just is a process. Like, it's a constant process, to be honest. And whether you're at the start or at the, I guess, a veteran, your rank 200 being a Muslim, it doesn't matter, man. Like, just try your best, honestly. That's what I'm gonna try to do. I hope Hamza does as well. Especially the fact that the first fast is gonna begin in a few hours, and I'm hoping I'm gonna do well. So you got this, Hamza, and you got this, whoever's watching, and myself. Hopefully, whenever I struggle with Islam or anything, I could just watch this video and just know that things will be okay, like, no matter what. But yeah, thank you. I didn't really utilize the whole screen recording and so on that much, mainly because I just ended up saying everything I needed to, right? But yeah, in fact, let me actually just play the last bit where he says if he wants to return or not.
So where are you in terms of coming back to Islam?
Seems like it's a process. Like it's not something I could just like jump into. I can't imagine it's something that'll be quick. With everything you guys are saying, with for example praying and fasting, it's like my mind's automatically seeing the progressive overload variation.
See, that is actually very like reasonable for him to think, like doing all of that at once. Like I said, it's just easier to slowly go into it. So he even mentions that, but I suppose he doesn't have to go into it thinking, oh, I need to work on my journal, I need to journal for like 4 days and then start. He could just try it now. Like he should be able to do it, right? Granted that this is from the 25th of March, so maybe he has already gone on this path. I really hope so. That would actually be amazing. So hopefully I am doing good as well. Need to actually end this. Have a great day, and Sensia.